to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Yeah, I can't report to that. We have a family reunion we have to go to in Pennsylvania, and it is the last thing I want to go to right now.
Oh, family reunions. You gotta love those. Well, you heard it here first off the top of the show, folks. We can't record a show. So we can't give you a double this week.
Yeah, and it's for the worst reason possible.
Oh, family. Extended family. Aren't they great?
No, I don't know if they are, because I don't remember any of them.
No?
No.
Oh, cool.
Gonna be a lot of reintroductions.
Hi, I'm never here.
Yeah.
Oh, funny stuff. What the hell's going on with this playoff, dude? Like,
I gotta say, like, right off the top,
yeah.
because we exclusively obviously do hockey, but I can't remember the last time I was this satisfied with the result
host
we got
cities
in
of
an NBA and a Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, because that's really fun that the same city gets to host games in both.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and they were the 8th seed in both.
Yeah, that's what makes it even better is just the seeding and like how crazy that is.
And we've got two teams on the other side in the West for both sports that have never won a title in Denver Nuggets and the Vegas Golden Knights. So so think about this from this perspective. Either the Nuggets or Knights are going to win their first cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or the Panthers could win their first cup.
Or Miami could just
the Miami
sweep
Heat could
the
become the first 8 seed in NBA history to win a title.
Miami could also just sweep the winter sports this season. Like,
yeah. I mean, think about how incredible this is for both sports. I mean, it's really fantastic, and I can't wait to get into it.
Give me a second. I need to get our sponsor buddies up here just to get some money line action in on here.
Yeah, get some betting going and whatnot.
Get some work in with our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook for our playoff Kepi picks, right?
Yeah, do we want to start with the ad or the actual Keppies?
Let's get the ad out of the way because I mean we're going into the Cup Final, dude.
It's insane.
We didn't even get a chance to talk conference final because what the hell?
They're so damn short, and
both decided we're just gonna get this done as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But right now, if you want to bet on the Stanley Cup Final, new customers can make a $5 bet and score $150 in bonus bets right away. For the Stanley Cup Final between the Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to look up here. Game 1, money line. Panthers are the favorites.
Really?
Panthers are the DraftKings favorites.
Wow. That's awesome.
They're a plus 115, my friend.
Wow. That's crazy.
Vegas is a minus 135. How does that work? Like, I've never understood how that works. I know we can't like do advice or whatever. I just never understood like the plus versus the minus. Yeah.
So, like my understanding of it is, so if a team is plus 115, as you said, is that what you said? So plus 115 is actually not the favorite. That's the underdog.
Okay. All right.
So
oh yeah.
115 means like if you bet $100 on this game, you'll win 115 on top of that if it hits. Whereas if it's minus, it would be like minus 135. My understanding is if you want to win $100, you'd have to put in 135.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
Okay.
I've just never like understood how odds work.
It took me forever to figure out, and more often than not, I don't really pay attention to the actual dollar amount. I'm usually just like, I'm going to put $20 on this game, and whatever
and see what happens, right?
Is what the result is.
We all know that with the Stanley Cup, that's exactly how hockey works.
Mm-hmm.
But get your action in on the Stanley Cup Final. everybody, and use our promo code, please. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can make a $5 hockey playoff bet and score $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All of our disclaimer stuff is always down below. Y'all know how it is. Playoff Keppies out east this time, and I think we might have the same guy. There's only one dude that it really has to be.
No, I'm going a little different.
No, you're going different. Okay, I guess I'm going with the obvious pick then. I'm gonna go with Chuck E. Cheese, man. Matthew is
such an obvious pick.
Like, come on, dude.
Dominated an entire series. Overtime winner in game 1, overtime winner in game 2, and the closest thing you'll get to an overtime winner in game 4. Scoring. I actually think that's more exciting than an overtime winner. Scoring with 5 seconds left in the game.
Yeah. Well, because like he also got he got 3 out of 4 game-winning goals.
Yeah.
And he assisted on the 4th in the sweep. It's like the dude is that dominant. He is the front runner, probably, right? In terms of forward.
He's got to be like if you were just to end
it's between him today, and Bobrovsky.
If you were to end the season today and have co-cup champions and you're picking out a Conn Smythe, it would be Matthew Tkachuk right now.
Oh yeah.
That's the best way I could say it. Like, and Bob obviously deserves his dues.
God, I miss that man.
We'll get into him later, but he was the obvious pick, so I'm fine with letting you pick him. But I wanted to, like, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is so we could, give shout outs to multiple players. So that's why I'm not going with you on this one.
Okay, gotcha.
Guy who has been unbelievably instrumental in the Vegas Golden Knights getting to the Stanley Cup Final was one of their bigger acquisitions throughout the course of the season, and tied for 3rd on the team in playoff scoring is Ivan Barbashev.
Barbie's been awesome.
Goals and 9 assists. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. That is really nice.
Literally, though, like, all jokes aside, he's been phenomenal for them, and he's been exactly what they needed. They needed a presence in the middle 6 who can play center, who can win faceoffs, who can help out defensively, and drive a little play. And he's given them more than I think they were expecting in terms of his production in these playoffs. He's been phenomenal.
Well, he was a brilliant depth piece in the Blues run too.
He was, yeah. I mean, he obviously didn't have the same role, but as you mentioned, a guy who was playing in the bottom 6 who was really, really key in that cup run, especially in the finals.
And it's always
that's the guy who's got cup experience who you get in hopes that they can help you out, and he's doing just that.
We talk about these guys, we obviously talk about the stars of the show. We talk about the big names that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. That's what hockey fans do, right? But at the same time, when you get deeper and deeper in the playoffs, you need these kinds of guys to get recognized more.
That's the thing I kind of like about this final is that I wouldn't say that either of these teams have a true unbelievable superstar. Now, Tkachuk's developing it.
I was going to say, Maddie's getting there.
But Vegas doesn't really have it. Eichel's been...
Jack is
I wouldn't
the
put
closest
him in the
thing.
Superstar category, but he's definitely getting there. He's making a case for it.
We can kind of debate that because I know the SDP guys debated that for a bit. I mean,
I don't think he's there yet. But
it also doesn't help that he
has the potential to do it, and he's playing out of his mind at these playoffs.
It doesn't, doesn't help that he was second fiddle to Connor McDavid,
right,
in his draft year. But
no doubt about it. He's had some good years and some years with really, really good production. I don't think he's ever had a season that makes him stand out as, that's a superstar caliber season. He's never hit 100 points. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if he's hit 90 before. But he's a really good player and showing out in the most important time, which is the playoffs. He's leading the night in scoring. And I think he can get there. But the point is like
the point on Barbie,
Chuck, like we're not this isn't like last year where it was like McKinnon and Stamkos and
Right.
Kucherov and those guys, and a couple of years ago, like you had Pasternak in the
Yep.
final against the Blues and whatnot, or in 2018
And
when
Binnington's run was happening like crazy.
like. And then the 2 cup runs before that, you obviously had Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, yada
Alex
yada
Ovechkin.
yada. It's cool to not only see 2 teams that have never won a cup in 2 very warm climate locations.
Yeah, we got a nice sunny final.
It's cool to see. I think we're finally figuring it out, Jake, because a lot of people ask the question of what wins in the National Hockey League, because it seems to change every year, where people are like, well, it's goaltending, or it's defense. No,
it's coaching. It's this. It's that.
It's balance.
Yeah, that's. You look at the Lightning rosters, and obviously those guys were front loaded big time, but at the same time, they had that depth. They had enough all throughout their lineup to support everything that needed done.
Ultimate plug and play. The Blues, when they won in 2019, that was a very complete team.
Yep.
Funny enough, when the Capitals won it, they were complete. They played as a complete team, but it was probably one of the worst rosters they had on paper in that run.
I mean, the back-to-back champions in Pittsburgh, 2017, and 2017 probably had the better roster on paper.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you had guys, that HBK line was just
that was their third line.
Yeah, exactly. That's our point, guys.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a better example of it than the 2013 Blackhawks either. Name a hole the roster had. Name one hole. I dare you.
Can't think of
this is what we need to realize. This is what wins in the National Hockey League. You need balance.
Yes, you need balance, and you need depth. Goalie
or the good defense, or the star for. No, you need balance.
Everybody chips in.
Yeah.
And that's the both
teams
thing. Yeah.
Strong in net. Both teams. The Panthers have actually shown to be quite steady on defense, actually.
Yep.
Surprise of a lot of people. So, and same with Vegas, although that was expected. Strong in net, strong on defense, loaded forward group, great coaches.
Okay. So yes, big playoff keppies going to Matt Tkachuk and Ivan Barbashev, one for each conference, and I think that's going to reflect our preview later. But we got to get to Columbus stuff first.
Yes.
As the Blue Jackets podcast that we are, because last week we talked about a couple of really not great ideas for head coach.
And it seems like those ideas are kind of weeding themselves out a little bit.
As of tweet from our buddy Mark Shig, if I could just pull this back up here. Okay. He has tiers for who he would like to see.
Yeah, I have that pulled up too.
Yeah. And we, based off of this, put out a poll this morning, which was kind of fun.
I saw that you did that, and I made the choice not to look at it because I didn't want to react to it until I saw it. So I pulled it up. Now we got almost 150 votes. Damn.
Yeah, nearly 150 votes, and
funny enough, one of the coaches that was involved.
One of the coaches is no longer available, unfortunately.
Andrew Brunette goes to Nashville. We'll just recap this real quick. So Andrew Brunette actually was coached by Barry Trotz. He scored the first goal in Nashville Predators history. So there's obviously a ton of familiarity there. He had a ton of success as an interim coach in Florida and a ton of success as an assistant coach with the New Jersey Devils this year. That's a perfect fit. I think
didn't he score it against the Devils too?
For the first goal?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
It was something about there was something about him leaving and going.
Yeah. But he replaces a former Devils coach in John Hines, which was very interesting.
That was actually the funny thing.
Apparently, the Rangers have interest in John Hines. As long as the Blue Jackets have no interest, then I'm fine. So that's all there is on AB that we're gonna bring up now. So the top two guys.
I was gonna say Carberry, the worst kept secret too. He's leaving the Leafs and going to the Caps. Meh.
Yeah. The worst kept secret in the National Hockey League was Carberry.
Carberry, yeah. In terms of coaches, but so our poll based off of Mark's tweet, and we'll dive a little bit bigger into Mark's tweet in a second. Pascal Vincent, Andrew Brunette, Patrick Waugh, and then anybody else. Now, Pascal, we all know he's the internal front runner.
Yes.
He, I think I bookmarked Mark's tweet about his resume too. Here we go. He won both coach and GM of the year in the CHL, and he had over 400 wins in the Q. Which is wonderful junior career, right?
Yes.
Coach of the year in the A. Spent 5 years as an assistant, 5 years as AHL head coach, and 2 years as an associate at the NHL level. So he has plenty of experience behind an NHL bench. And he's got good levels of experience in both juniors and pros. So, he's obviously more or less going to be the guy as long as they keep looking internally.
Right. Which, as far as internal options are concerned, fine with that. I mean, this is a guy who, to his credit, was, I think, the guy who kind of came up with the idea for Patrick Laine to play center. Obviously, talked it over. Laine did it. He had 4 assists in the 2 games he played as center. So, who knows? I mean, it's obvious this guy.
He's a player's guy. He's a good vocal communicator.
Players. Yes. I'm speaking for the fans here. It's really hard to sell the fans on this hire.
It's hard to sell on an internal hire in general because of what just happened.
And that's what I mean. Like, whether or not it's fair, it just is.
And that's the reality of the situation. We hate being that these kinds of guys again, because we gave Lars his chance.
Yeah, we're always going to give whoever the coach of the team is a chance. We're always going to give the players a chance, but you have to prove it. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be rooting against anybody in this organization.
No.
Fucking win, for crying out loud. And if they can all have success, then guess what happens, Jake? They start to win games.
Then we're all happy.
Oh, God. So I don't want to... this is where it's tough with him, because it's
right.
You bring up all these great points, and yet inside I can't help but be like, God, but I don't want
please external, please. Yeah, no, I get it.
It's not an inspiring hire.
I get it. Not. He's, on the other hand, he feels like he should have gotten the job before Lars anyway.
Yes.
What
kind of what this comes down to a little bit is it's not
you
so
look
much that it was an internal hire with Lars, it's that it was Lars.
because back when we were excited that Larson got it, right? We were more excited that it was he's been around this organization for over a decade. He knows these players. He knows these systems. He can evolve that.
It wasn't as much an excitement as much as it was just a hope that the standard wasn't going to change.
Right.
Right.
More or less.
And for some reason it drastically did.
Yeah. But Pascal, now that we've gotten that tweet from Mark about his resume, it's okay, this guy's a winner. This guy knows how to treat his players. This guy knows how to communicate with his other coaches and with his management and with the fans.
And this is what
It sounds like he just knows what he's doing more.
Fair or not. Okay. But I'm going to bring up a counter argument that someone might make myself.
Well, yeah.
If that's the case, why was the team so bad? Like I know he's not the head coach, but if he is as good as everyone's trying to sell me on, I feel like the impact should have been better than second last in the National Hockey League. Don't you think?
I mean, I don't
I
know,
know
man,
that,
because he ran the power play, right? That was
Yeah.
his job under Lars' staff.
Yeah, and he worked with the forward group.
Forwards and power play. Okay.
I'm just gonna say this, okay? Let me put it this way, okay? I know that you make changes in the off season. It's not just a change to a coach. You obviously you make roster decisions. So I don't want to make it seem like this team made one change.
You're drafting players, you're making changes, you're hiring and firing inside your other hockey operations staff. There's more than just the coach.
The New Jersey Devils went from 29 wins to 52, and they brought in Andrew Brunette.
That was the main thing they did.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Vitek Vanacek obviously made a huge impact this season. John Marino made a huge impact this season.
A lot in the playoffs. It was brilliant.
Absolutely. But a lot of Devils fans will tell you that Andrew Brunette was instrumental in this. Now, obviously, I think they're happy for him going to Nashville, and they're hopeful that they can continue under Lindy Ruff, who's a very good coach, who's got experience, and I think he can continue the momentum that they have. But if this guy is as good as what people are telling me he is, then I'm not asking for that big of a gap in win difference that we saw with the Devils last season. But God, I mean, you added Johnny freaking Gaudreau to this hockey team. I know you had a ton of injuries, but you were second last in the league. Was Brad that bad that he couldn't make an impact? Is that what it is?
I don't know, because he was a really good coach. He was an all right coach with Cleveland, right?
Who?
Lars.
I don't remember, because he was never with Cleveland.
Oh, right. It was just Springfield. Right. It was just Springfield.
So,
and even then it was they were fine.
It was well over a decade ago.
Because it was
us there.
Because it was Bedsy that won the championship.
Yeah. And then
it was Bednar, and then now it's Trent.
Yeah. And there was someone in the middle. I can't remember who it is, but that's not important. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes, I do get what you're saying. The big issue is
here's what, I was so against this guy, but
hang on. So let's just, because we did mention Brunette off the top, he's just off the ballot. But if he weren't, he would have been a great
he'd have been the top choice. Guy. He would have been the franchise mode turn off certain settings. If they actually did coaches. I want this guy. I'm getting this guy to coach my hockey team.
I'm gonna get. Yeah, it's it's I'm gonna get Scotty Bowman. I'm gonna get heyday Scotty Bowman.
So the other guy, so the guy who got the bulk of the votes,
the guy who got 60%, because Brunette came in at 21, Pascal came in at 15, and then another, which we didn't really get any, we didn't get anybody's opinions on the other.
Yeah, they would just vote other, and they'd be like, no, I don't think I will reply.
It's thanks, guys. That helps us. Jeez.
I mean, I think we can assume that, maybe the other.
That's just whoever else.
Maybe, I guess, or whatever. But I think Babcock's kind of out of the question now.
Yeah, same with Laviolette, because he's looking at the Rangers. The Rangers are looking at him, and then
unless the Rangers get John Hines, I think Laviolette's kind of a slam dunk to go there.
And then, but then again, other could have been guys like our dude Bruce. Come on.
The silence on Bruce makes me wonder if he's just ever even going to coach again.
If he's just done. Yeah.
Because it feels like I've seen him linked nowhere.
Yeah,
for a
I don't
coach
know.
who's had the track record that he's had, and he did such a good job his first year in Vancouver, and the odds were stacked against him this season. I'm
The way that
surprised.
they let him go, I'm surprised that he doesn't want to try like somewhere better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So I don't know what the deal is on that front. My feeling is the fact that I haven't seen him linked to other places makes me think that maybe he's just done coaching, or maybe he wants a break.
a break, yeah. I mean, he
Because
he
that could
is
be possible.
isn't he nearing 70? Like he's
Yeah.
getting up there in age.
It might be this year might be a year where he says, I want to take this year off and see if I even still have the desire to coach after this season, because I don't want to take a job and then a year down the line, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. That could
Right.
be it too. So, but top two guys for this job are Pascal Vincent and I would
Patrick Waugh.
So
I
have
kind of think it's fun because, like, I don't know why this one puts a smile on my face, but it does.
I've been almost like staunchly like anti Patrick Wall for a little bit because his tenure in Colorado was like so
Okay,
tumultuous. But
that's
then
the
I
thing.
did some deeper digging.
Okay, so let's address that part off the top of it, right? For those of you that have grown up with us as fans through this,
Mhm.
Patrick Waugh was the coach of the Avalanche, what, like 13 to 15?
Yes, that is exactly the correct timeline. Proud of you.
And he, being an Avalanche legend, he kept
coached
a
like
lot of
he
that.
had Avalanche legend leverage and an
He
Avalanche legend leash.
he was he kept a lot of that passion from when he was their goalie.
In a word, unhinged.
Yes,
His
unhinged is a
first
great
game, the guy we just mentioned, he got into it like with Bruce Boudreau his first game, right?
You got to remember this is the guy that like he had goalie fights back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yes.
He was dead center in the blood feud with the Red Wings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
This is a guy who got
he
traded
fought
to the
Mike Vernon.
Avalanche. Yeah, this is a guy who got traded to the Avalanche because he was left in too long in a game, and he literally told them on the bench, he's like, "Just trade
I'm never
me."
playing. Yeah, I'm never playing for
playing
your
here.
organization again. That's how his time in Montreal ended after he
This
led him to
guy
3 cups.
who shit talked, I think it was Jeremy Roenick, and he said, I couldn't hear what he was saying because I had my 2 Stanley Cup rings clogging my ears.
Yeah.
This is who he is. And the interesting thing that I do love about sports and about life in general is you do give people the opportunity to change and evolve and grow.
Yes.
And that's what I've heard a lot about Patrick Waugh over the years now, in his time with Quebec they're in the Q, right? Well, that would make sense.
Well, yeah. I would hope a
Yes,
team in Quebec City would be in the Quebec League.
No, there's
They're all the way in the W.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Yes, he's had a lot of success with Quebec.
The Quebec Ramparts.
Major Junior Hockey League.
The Quebec Ramparts, who are also playing in the Memorial Cup Championship. Aren't they going to the final?
I believe so. James Malatesta's on that team.
That's right. Our buddy James is putting up a performance.
He's playing well. So this is a guy, like, interestingly enough, like, if you want to learn about coaching and get better coaching, I can't think of a better opportunity than coaching kids. Right?
Right.
So clearly he's doing a good job there. The one thing that sticks out to me, though, that intrigues me and makes me think that this should actually be an avenue the Blue Jackets should go down.
Yeah.
I want to read some stats to you, okay? So he was there from 2013 to 2016, okay?
That was his Avalanche tenure.
Avalanche tenure, yes. So, real quick, let me bring up his record, because his record was better than I thought it was.
Really?
So yes. So his first year, the Avalanche were not really a good team, but they went on an absolute crazy shooting bender and they made it to the playoffs. They were 52, 22, and 8. Everyone was like, this team's not actually good. They're playing way above their weight, but it doesn't matter. You won the division, 112 points. That's impressive. Next season, next 2 years, they missed the playoffs, but he finished with 90 points and then 82. That's actually not as bad as I thought it was.
Point per game.
Here's what really intrigues me, Jake.
Okay.
Semyon Varlamov's stats.
Oh, Semyon, that's right. Yep.
First year that he was there under Patrick Waugh. Now I know that Patrick Waugh's not the goalie coach, but head coaches can help out with goaltending. We've seen towards, that effect. Semyon Varlamov's save percentage.
Oh, he was a goalie coach, all right. Come on now.
927 and a 241 goals against average with 2 shutouts. The next year, 921, 256, 5 shutouts.
Okay.
And the last year, the year that Patrick Waugh got fired, 914, 281, 2 shutouts.
That's still not bad. That's like, wow.
Damn good numbers. 921, 927, and 914.
A 914 in
that's
the year you get
out at
fired.
about 920. Right there.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
What can the Blue Jackets use more than anything in the world right now?
Goalie
and Elvis Slikin's revival.
Oh.
I've said it before, I think that when you look at how he plays, specifically over the last couple of years, his fundamentals have been terrible. He's just completely lost any structure to his game.
Well, we can talk about at the end about the mental thing and the pressure.
I'm leaving that out for a second. Just because I'm looking at his game and the tendencies, the habits that he's gotten into. And I've said before that I think, getting rid of Manny Legacy was a good thing. I think that this is needed. And I think hiring a good goalie coach can help him get back on track. But outside of just a goalie coach, can you think of a better person who can help the fundamentals of a goaltender
than the guy that changed them himself?
The guy whose whole entire game was just fundamentals. His game wasn't based off athleticism or anything like that, or making crazy saves. His game was largely motionless.
Well, you also have to you got to remember the way that Patrick Waugh, as a goalie, changed goalies.
Yes.
Because before Waugh, you had a lot of stand-up guys that never really left their feet, that were just kind of stoic in their net all the time. Patrick, always dropping down, always. That's what developed the butterfly style.
Absolutely. He was so instrumental in it. And it wasn't just the fact that he was doing it, it's how he was doing it.
Yes.
How he would cut down on angles and how he wouldn't lose his net, how he was always in. God, can you a guy who can help Elvis not lose his net? Oh, can you think of anything we need more than that?
Well, Terry too, him being as young as he is.
That's another guy that you could mold. Could you imagine if he can grow Tarasov's game and get Elvis right back on track? If you can have 2 goalies you can rely on, oh man, that does wonders for your team.
Right. It's just the last thing that I'll say just on Waugh in general before we just go rapid fire through the tier list, I guess.
Yes.
Is calling back to what you said earlier about him being older, him being more experienced as a coach. Because back when he was coaching the Avalanche, he was a fresh face in the coaching world. He was a hot head, man.
Yeah, he was. And I think that I want to say the one thing I'll say in defense of Patrick Waugh a little bit, I think there was a little bit of pressure on him for that.
I mean,
a little bit of pressure to add that Patrick Waugh, you know, NHL playing
add the
thing,
flair to it.
the flair to his, coaching model.
Right.
And at times I actually think it worked for him, but it certainly worked against him towards the end.
Yes.
And I'm not asking, like, we don't need this guy to get rid of that entirely.
No.
If it can work in some instances, you have to use it.
Look at how we did with Torts, and he was like, he mellowed out when he was with us, but still, like, he was Torts.
That's a guy who's still learning. He's in his 60s.
Right.
He's done this for over 20 years. He is still learning. That's the great thing about coaching is you always learn. You teach players, your players teach you. I'm really hoping that if he can find some balance, I actually think that I think I may have been wrong about Patrick Waugh in the past. I'm not gonna lie. I've really warmed up to the idea of him potentially becoming the coach of the Blue Jackets if there's mutual interest.
If there is, and that's the thing, is the biggest mutual interest right now is with Pascal Vincent.
For obviously.
Patrick hasn't gotten like a formal interview. He's had talks, but he hasn't had like a formal interview.
Do we have any idea if that's going to be coming?
I don't know. The biggest thing to take away, I think I heard something from Hedger this morning about expect it sometime later this week, maybe as soon as when this is like by the sometime after this is posted on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But at least sometime later this week, hopefully, is when we're going to know about this, because like Yarmo's coming back from Worlds and we're getting down to it.
Yeah.
We'll see where that lands. This was the 8 a.m. tweet. Hang on. I got to find bookmarks. Here we go. As of 5:30 p.m. So this is about an hour and a half ago. Mark's tier list for head coaches. And this is his preference, right?
Yes.
Tier 1, Patrick Waugh, Pascal Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
Tier 2, Travis Green, Kirk Muller, and Laviolette.
Yeah, Latvia I don't see happening.
Latvia I don't see happening.
Travis Green's interesting to me.
Green's
I wouldn't be upset about that. The only concern I have with Travis Green is that the way the type of style of hockey that he likes to play, I don't think our defense is equipped for it.
No.
They're not ready for it. Like if you were to hire Travis Green in a couple years when Yurchek and Matachuk and Kuhlman's are developed, then he'd be a great coach for us. Right. I don't think he fits the timeline. I'll put it that way. Because
all of the defensemen that he had in Vancouver, they knew how to skate really fast. Mm-hmm. They knew how to back check. They knew
play up ice. I mean, Quinn Hughes was perfect for that, and Zach Werenski.
OEL.
Oh man, but like you look at it's like the rest of the group, and it's like Drew Peak and Eric and Branson. It's like, oh god,
it's like I mean, like you have 2, maybe 3 guys that can pull off.
You got Werenski and Boakfist who can do it, and Blake.
Yeah. And Blanks, yeah.
So yeah,
it's just kind of like I don't know. And then Kirk Muller was one that was just kind of like, really, okay,
yeah.
I don't know about that, but all right. And then tier 3 was Babs, and that's no go. No go. I don't like Mark. We love you, dude, but no.
I don't think he's saying he wants Babs. I think
he's
saying Babs is a legitimate candidate. So if he's ranking and doing tiers of the coaches, he puts him in last.
Right.
That's yeah.
Yeah. So, that's yes.
I'm glad he agrees with us that no go on Babs.
But like I said earlier with Pascal, Mark said on his show or Union Junction, whatever, like I want to say that's like a weekly column he puts out or something. Said that Pascal was my favorite to land the job. He's a good teacher and communicator, also good with the young talent. However, I would get why some fans would be upset.
Yeah, I read that too. And yeah. I'm glad he understands.
So it's like he gets it. Yeah. Okay, so they did there's from Friedman, there's mixed messages on Babcock's chances. Good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just say that's good.
Yeah.
Mueller and Green did get interviews.
Okay.
Cursory conversation rather than a deep interview with Patrick Waugh. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps with the chances.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then Friedman wonders the longer this goes on, the better Vincent's chances are, and I think that's the case.
Yeah.
The longer we wait, the more it's going to solidify that it's Pascal's job. But that's where we're at with the coach chase so far. Like, we're getting names in there. We're probably going to get a decision sometime this week.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hey, do you know what a dupe session is?
I don't.
I think we're in one right now. There's a lot of things where we're looking at life right now. Everything's so expensive and everybody still has their brand loyalty, right?
Of course.
But nobody wants to pay like $7 for a name brand coffee anymore.
No.
Like, why?
$1.69 at McDonald's.
Exactly. It's the exact same thing that you're paying for. Pretty much the same kind of quality, but you're paying a lot more just for a specific brand.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know. There's a lot that you can get with the same kind of quality and even better quality at lower prices.
I like deals.
I like deals too. And one dupe you definitely shouldn't sleep on, Raycon wireless earbuds. Raycon's premium audio at perfect price point. You can listen to whatever you want when you want without breaking the bank. Usually, like for someone like me, I like listening to music while I'm working all the time, when I'm on walks, things like that. With these cheaper earbuds, they're a lot easier replaceable if you lose them in a workplace like mine.
Yeah.
They're a lot more comfortable. There's a lot of, like we mentioned, the inflation that's going on with everybody right now. Everybody's bills are a little too much.
Yeah.
So you got to get your cheaper options and compare your prices, right? But you want to make sure that everything's quality. And Raycon makes sure of that as well. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg for quality sound. You can get a pair and a spare and still pay less than you would with regular, bigger name brands out there. They know what's going on here. They offer 2-year product protection insurance for just a couple of bucks. They're easy and free return guarantee is great. And there's free domestic shipping.
I like the protection because, headphones are definitely something that within 2 years can get lost or damaged or anything like that. So it's a good protection to have.
Yeah, exactly. Free domestic shipping, and I think it says, flat free international shipping as well. So, like, a lot cheaper to get them shipped to you, which is always nice. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff Bezos. And the best part, the reviews. 50,000, over 50,000 5-star reviews. So, like, people know what's going on with Raycons.
Wow.
People know what's going on.
Like a baseball stadium amount of people.
Yeah, like a really fun baseball stadium amount of people. A nice little sellout there. They offer customizable sound profiles. There's the noise isolation that we always love. There's 8 hours of playtime, so you can use them all throughout your shift. If you're like at a desk job and you just like want to chill out and
there's nothing worse than like you're 3 hours into your shift and your headphones die and you're just like, oh, I still
right. Yeah, especially if you're in a job like mine where you have to have one in after the other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the 8 hours of playtime is brilliant. They're water and sweat resistant, which is really cool.
So I sweat a lot.
Fun workout earbuds, right?
I don't work out. That's no why I'm sweating. I'm just a naturally sweaty person.
Just a natural sweaty guy, right? And the custom gel tips are nice and comfortable, and you can mix and match them and have fun with that. You can get in on it yourself. All you got to do is go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to score 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. buyraycon.com/THPN. Conference finals. They went by way too quick. We didn't even get a chance to talk about them when we would have had a show over the weekend.
Yeah, so Carolina gets swept by Florida.
Third time they've gotten swept in the conference final, like in a row.
2009, yeah, because swept by the Penguins, swept by the Bruins, swept by the Panthers.
Woo.
Their last conference final appearance where they got a win was in 2006, where they beat the Sabres 4-2.
And then they went on to win the cup.
Rod Brindamore was a part of that team. He lifted the cup that day, and since becoming the head coach, they've had some good regular seasons. They've only gotten out of the second round twice under him as a head coach, and they haven't won a game.
They have some decisions to make.
I wonder what this does for his future long term.
I think his future long term isn't as much in question to me as it would be for a lot of other people.
Yes, I agree. I'll say it this way. I don't think that there's any flame under his seat. I don't think he's on the hot seat or anything like that. But it's the first time that I think Carolina management has looked at the stove.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's a good that's a good way to put it. But then you have, futures of guys like Marty Necas and some of your longer term guys that you're like, okay, do we really want them to be a part of this core?
Yeah, they got decisions to make.
They have some decisions. Brett Pesce's one of them.
Someone brought this up to me earlier, and I guess this is something we could talk about more on a later point, but
they're going to bring Burns. Like, Burns has another year, so Slavin's going to get his first stable partner for 2 consecutive years for the first time in a long time.
So, with the rise of Jalen Chatfield, okay, question for you. You've got Slavin and Burns. You got Brady Shea and Jalen Chatfield. Does a Brett Pesce for William Nylander deal make sense?
Pesce is expendable, and
Carolina badly needs a forward who can finish.
Yes, and Willie can finish. He's a 40-goal scorer. Come on.
Yeah, now, like, they need someone outside of Svechnikov can do it, and that was their issue in the playoffs is they didn't have
Svech didn't play.
So you really had to rely on Aho, and Aho's a good player, but Aho can't be your primary finisher because he's your primary playmaker. So
right, and Necas wasn't getting it done either.
And for the Leafs, not only do they need help on defense, they need, for the first time in God knows how long,
a shakeup.
Number 1 right-hand shot defenseman.
Yeah.
And Brett Pesce is that.
I mean, he's definitely got the chops and the analytical numbers for it. Like,
I'm just throwing that out there. I wonder if that's something that gets explored this season.
It could be, because I know the talk in Leafland right now is A, Kyle, and B, like Kyle and Shanny, because come on. petty as hell, and B, the Marner trade arguments, and it's like, why is he the guy right now? No, I get Leafland needs the scapegoat, but like, come on.
Personally, I just think it's going to be Marner because I think he's the guy that you can get the most for.
That, and it's like this. There's all the pressure arguments of being the hometown boy and the whipping boy and the poster child and the dad thing, and all. There's so many layers with poor Mitch. There's just like, man.
Yeah, that was just something I was thinking about. So,
Freddie, Ranta,
Chekhov. I got Chekhov locked up, so I think they're probably just going to bring back Ranta because it'll be cheaper and they'll let Freddie walk. I do think that's interesting because I think Kachekhov's going to get his first chance of truly
being the guy.
I think the Canes are going to be back. The Canes are going to be good next year. They're going to make the playoffs.
They just need to find a way to get it done, because even renting,
yeah,
because they went out and they got Ghost, and it's like they made moves.
He lived up to.
He surely was a ghost, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, they tried to make moves. They went out and they got Jesse Puljujarvi, who did exactly what he did in Edmonton, which is he had really good underlying numbers. He drove play, and he cannot finish for the life of him, so it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, he didn't do much of anything they wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Yes, Sperry was a great performer for him.
And this one isn't their fault. They go out, they make a smart, shrill move to get Max Pacioretty, and he just shit fucking luck.
Oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Max. Like, that just makes me hurt emotionally by proxy, right? Woof. So, but a huge congrats to the Panthers on that, because they just keep doing their thing, man.
Yeah.
Ever since they lost that one game to Toronto, and Paul Maurice lost his mind at his players, they haven't lost.
Well, you know what's funny is, like, I'm not even looking like that short back. I'm looking like, do you know what the turning point was for me in my eyes for the Panthers?
What?
Was Keith Tkachuk calling them soft. Don't you think like everything's kind of turned since that happened?
I don't even remember when that happened.
I think it was sometime during March. Like when it was legitimately in question of whether
it was like do or die if they're going to make it?
Yeah. And he was like, they're too soft. And this team has been the furthest thing from soft this entire postseason. They have out-sandpapered every team they faced in every round of these playoffs. They were grittier than the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, grittier than the Bruins. Like, that's
what?
That's so weird.
A team that has Brad Marchand and Tyler Bertuzzi and
Trent Frederick
and you kind of bullied them.
I was gonna,
What am I missing here? And then they do it to Toronto, which that's more to be expected because the Leafs.
Yeah.
Then they do it to Carolina, which again they're not one of those teams, but it is incredible what the Panthers have done, and I'm so excited to talk about their opponent too, so we can kind
freaking wild. Okay, so Vegas didn't take as short of a time as brisk of a walk to take care of Dallas. They took an extra game.
Well, really, in any
they took two. They took it to 6, right?
So they beat. God, who did they face in the first round? It's been forever. They faced the Jets. They beat 7-5. Yes. Then they beat. In the second round, they beat someone in 6.
They beat someone. It was Connor.
They beat Edmonton.
They beat Connor.
So it was 5, 6, and 6. And think about who they went along the way to beat. They had to go up against Connor Hellebuck and Kyle Connor and those guys up in Winnipeg and and then you face Connor McDavid.
You face the two-headed monster up front in Edmonton.
You're facing all the damn Connors in the world, and you're having success. and Leon Draisaitl. And then
you know what's funny? I don't think the Panthers have a Connor, so that might do well in their favor.
Do the Stars have a Connor on their team though?
You're right. My logic's flawed on that. I don't think they do.
Would have been funny if they just had like Connor Sherry or something like that.
If they had Connor Sherry, yeah.
Yeah, just like a random Connor. So anyway, they beat the Stars in 6. They were up 3-0 in the series. The Stars were able to extend it to 6 games, but
Jamie Benn, you know what's
whomping.
funny is they were 4-0 without with
Yeah.
it was
Without-
with Jamie in the lineup. They were 4-0, and they were.
It was without him.
My brain doesn't want to work well today. They won while he was suspended. I'll just
I'm not
put it
going to
that way.
criticize you. I forgot that Quebec was in the QMJHL.
They
Anyway.
won while their captain was suspended for trying to break someone's neck. Let's phrase it like that.
The Knights left no doubt in Game 6. Just completely beat the shit out of the Stars.
Aiden Hill with the big shutout.
Yeah, they went 6-0. Not a super entertaining series. I know it went 6, but it never really felt in doubt to me.
It was Aiden's series, bro. Like, this has been his run.
Dude, he's been fantastic. And it's funny enough, it didn't even start with him.
No, because it started with
it's funny.
Ross, didn't it?
That's a good thing that I didn't even think about. Both the goalies we're going to see in these finals were not the starters to start the playoffs.
Oh, that's right.
Alex Lyons started and it was Laurent Brossoit for the Golden Knights. So you're seeing, 2 goalies who are starting right now who weren't the starters coming into the playoffs. Now, one situation is a little different than the other, but
yeah,
it's interesting. It's really cool. Like, I look at both these rosters and I look at the narratives and the storylines and all that stuff, and I get excited for this final.
It's super crazy good. Because you have Matt Tkachuk, you have Jack Eichel on the other side. You have Mark Stone and Sasha Barkov as the 2 captains going at it, right?
You know, it's like the number one narrative coming into this series for me that I can think of.
First timer. That's the big one for me, is first timer.
Well, what I was thinking is, like, we talk all the time about how the Vegas Golden Knights knocked it out of the park with their expansion draft, right?
Yeah.
And they fleeced some teams in the process. Like,
they did, yes.
Look at what they did to Columbus, and like, oh god, that just happy for William Karlsson, but that one stings, right?
But, yeah, that hurts.
Is there a team they fleeced more than the Florida Panthers, though?
Right, because you have both Riley and Marshy getting to play.
You got Jonathan Marchessault from the Panthers
pretty much for free
in favor for taking on Riley Smith's contract.
Right. It's like, we'll just give you this one if you
poor guys. Like,
we'll just give you this guy if you just go ahead and take this contract.
We'll give you this really solid player if you take this really good top 6 player.
Yeah.
What do you say? Deal or no deal?
You know what's funny? There's a lot of Columbus flavor in this final.
There is.
There's a ton of Columbus flavor in this final.
So Marchessault got his career started in the Columbus organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sergei Bobrovsky. You've got William Karlsson. You got
Anthony Duclair, Bill Zito.
Is there anybody else on the? Oh, Keegan Kolzar.
Keegan Kolzar, and then there's also like managerial staff on the Vegas side, I think.
Interesting.
If not, like just other coaching staff.
So what you're telling me is the road to the cup runs through Columbus.
Yes, it does. Who knew, right?
So you're telling me to really make things like, if you're really going to honor us in the Stanley Cup Final, the least you could do is like put a cannon in each arena.
And play for those about to rock before you play your actual goal song.
It works with the Knights. Knights fight with cannons, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
It works with the Panthers too, because Panthers are fast, like cannon.
Like a cannonball. Sure. Oh God, man. Oh, and you know what's another fun story for this final? Sam versus Jack.
Oh yeah,
The Buffalo Exodus.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's kind of great, isn't it?
Damn, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I kind of want to see Tager just like, oh, right.
You know, it's funny. Like, it's not often that you see, both sides winning a trade. It doesn't happen with every trade. I make the argument that it's going to happen for both those trades because the Sabres obviously got Alex Tuck, who is drafting material once
Krebs is going to be great.
I like Peyton Krebs' potential. They got a first round pick out of it. Tuck is cheap.
Yes.
He was over
for now
this year. And like you look at the Sam Reinhart deal, and they got a first round pick for that, and then on top of that, they got
Devin Levi.
So both, like, you can make an argument that all three teams in those deals, Buffalo with both deals, and then obviously Vegas with Eichel and the Florida Panthers with Reinhart, they're all really doing well with this,
right?
And obviously, like, you always want to win your trades, but I think there is something so awesome about seeing both teams win a trade.
Well, didn't Mike say something about that back in the day when we had Mike Todd on? He was like, both of you, like, the best outcome is when both get what they want.
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree with that. Because if you're rooting for the player, you don't want the player to not have success. And like, obviously the Buffalo fans have their opinions on Jack Eichel. We know what those are. But I'll tell you right now, I know Buffalo fans very well. They love Sam Reinhart. They absolutely loved him. They totally understood why they needed to trade him, and they've been rooting for him. They're thrilled about it, seeing him play as well as he's playing. And
well, I guess we know where they're going to side with this.
Oh, they are absolutely rooting for the Florida Panthers right
now. Predictions.
So again, this is where it's like funny.
It's funny because blanket statement. Both of us are going to be fine with whoever wins this cup.
I'm making this prediction for a very simple reason, because I've said this multiple times, both on Twitter, in text with you, and I believe in this podcast too.
Probably, yes.
These Florida Panthers remind me of the 2017 Nashville Predators, and that's why I believe they're going to lose to the black and gold team in the finals in 6 games.
Well, they're not even black and gold.
Let me push my narratives.
Let me push my conspiracy theory.
The Vegas Golden Knights are going to beat the Florida Panthers in 6 games. It's going to be a close series. We're going to see some incredible moments with Matthew Tkachuk and probably Jack Eichel. We're going to see some really fun moments with Aiden Hill and Sergei Bobrovsky. It's going to be fought, but at the end of the day, Vegas will be lifting the Stanley Cup in Florida.
I'm trying to think just a little bit, because like I said, either one, like there are no losers here with this.
Right. That's how I feel about the NBA finals too.
Because it's like, it's a total, like, first timers, man. Like, either one, this is going to be brilliant. Yes. And obviously Vegas has their story with going on their cup run the first year, but then the Panthers, they went in 96, and it's taken them a while to get back, but still.
Yeah, they got swept. They didn't even win a cup final game. They still haven't won a cup final game in their history. So
it's amazing to think about all the storylines with both teams as they reach this final.
Yes.
But I think for me,
do it. Contradict me.
I gotta go Panthers in 6, man.
Yeah, I know you.
I gotta match games, dude. I gotta match games though too, because it's like, think of the roar, literally, that's played through Florida Live Arena throughout this entire run. right?
The thoughts of Sergei Bobrovsky lifting a cup are pretty cool.
Oh,
Although depressing that it won't be.
I know that it wasn't with us, but it's like, man,
yeah.
him and Bill. Like, I want to see Zito get that too.
One of those two guys is going to do it.
I said Zito, but Bill Carlson would be great too.
Oh, I just heard you say Bill. I just figured you were talking about William Carlson.
No, it's the tenacity that these Panthers never go away.
They don't.
I said it last series too. They just don't go away.
Yeah.
And I think they can do it, man.
I think they can too. No doubt about it. My only thing that I'll say as far as the series that I would be concerned about for Florida, if any player in the National Hockey League can shut down Matthew Tkachuk, it's Mark Stone.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think that this is the first time all playoffs that the Panthers actually might run into some matchup issues with that line.
Well, in terms of individual players, yes.
Because if they can just find a way to just neutralize him.
Yes, not even like
if you don't have to shut him down. If you could just neutralize Matthew Tkachuk using Mark Stone, which I definitely think they could do with him. He's easily the best defensive forward in the National Hockey League. God, that gives your roster so much leeway. Like what I think is like the other three lines for both teams.
Yeah.
I'm taking the other three lines for Vegas over the other three lines for Florida. And that's ultimately why I'm making this prediction for Vegas to win the cup.
Because like we mentioned off the top, right? It's that balance, right? It's that balance. Now, I will say...
That was brilliant. Using my original point.
Nice rug on the episode, right?
Oh, beautiful.
But we do need to, before we end this,
grow the game, baby.
Grow the game. The World Championships wrapped up this past week. And obviously, congrats to Canada for winning it, first of all, because, I mean, come on, it's Canada.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Very short congrats because it's just so...
Because it's Canada.
It's Canada. It's so expected. It's so typical. It's just like,
and even with these, because these aren't even their primary dudes. Like,
yeah, it's impressive.
It's amazing. But the biggest shout outs to Germany and the host city, Latvia.
Oh my God. Getting bronze. Like, I had this discussion with people on Instagram when I was saw this video like pop up of the goal. Like, you know, being an American, like obviously you want to see Team USA do their best. Like, I feel like there was a good chunk of Americans actually rooting for Latvia because there's an understanding that a bronze medal means so much more to them than it does to us. So if you're not going to
win, celebrating it like it was a gold medal, dude.
Course, and why wouldn't you? It's their first ever medal. Like it's so cool, and this is what we talk about. This is how you grow the game. Like imagine being a young kid in Germany or in Latvia watching that and getting the chance to see them, you know, get a medal and how big that is, and you know you can beat the United States and do these incredible things on ice. Like, you know, we don't know what the impact is going to be 20 plus years down the line. All I can tell you is it can't be bad.
You can match up against a Canada to a point, you know, like, and it's not that those two countries are slouches either, because they've had good NHL talent.
It's an acknowledgement about how they've improved over the years.
In Germany, you have superstars in Seider and Draisaitl and Stützle.
Yeah.
Like you have those three guys.
You know, and in that, you know, they obviously for a while they had Thomas Greiss, but he's getting old now. So you have Philip Grubauer now.
Right. And Gru is fantastic.
Yeah. He's had a really good career. despite the up and downs of the last few years.
Yeah.
Like the pipeline. Oh, JJ Paterka
JJ, yep.
in Buffalo.
Yep.
He's gonna be really good.
He's gonna be a fantastic player in this league. And then Latvia, you had Artur Silovs
from the Canucks, who was
Canucks prospect,
6th or 7th round pick.
Yeah, and he was unbelievable.
He was brilliant.
Unbelievable. You got our boy Teddy Bluger. Obviously, he wasn't playing for the Worlds, but
where's he from?
I think he's from Riga, Latvia. That's right, baby.
It's so cool to see Christian Rubens.
Rubens with the
Leafs and Sens legend.
Oh my god! What because wasn't one of your old favorites from way back in the day a Latvian kid too? Christers, yeah.
Let me tell you, if Latvia's had some weird goaltending luck.
Yeah.
From Artur Zerbe to Christers Gazlevskis to Elvis Merzlikins to Artur Silovs.
And I do want to end on Elvis because this is
I feel like they've had some good goalies in that. I feel like I'm missing one, but I'm sure we'll figure it out later.
But Elvis, okay, let's touch on this. And this is, we're not shouting at Columbus fans because overall, I do think this was more, well,
I am.
Because I didn't see this, right? I didn't see this unfolding. I didn't see any of the replies or anything like that to the tweet. So I think it was more just Latvian fans.
Here's what I'll say. I've seen this didn't lead to Elvis deleting his Twitter. What I saw in the days prior to that, where there were a couple Blue Jackets fans, and I'm not going to name names because I don't remember them, and it's not important.
Well, it's first of all, Mark put out this tweet about minutes after he tweeted about celebrating the bronze, he deletes his Twitter.
Yes.
Which is stupid in terms of face value.
Yes.
It's ridiculous because it's the dude's allowed to celebrate his country getting a fucking medal.
Especially in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Eh? What I've noticed, whether it be Latvia fans or Columbus fans, there were people talking about the fact that he didn't go. And there were comments to the extent made that I saw from Columbus fans about how it was possible for Latvia to have this success because he didn't go.
For Latvia to have it because he wasn't there?
Yes. I think so this is an interesting topic that I've always been so curious about, and I love just talking about and thinking about and looking into deeper. And it's the discrepancy between being critical of your players and holding them accountable and holding them to a standard, and also just being needlessly cruel,
needlessly hateful.
Elvis had a shit season. There's just no way.
We all had to burn the shit season. Come on, people.
He did. And we're just talking about Elvis here. He had a bad season.
Burn the tape season for sure. This is just wipe the slate clean.
I don't understand why it can't just be held to that.
Can we not?
I don't know why it can't just be he had a bad season and we just end the conversation there. Because the thing that annoys the shit out of me personally is,
and you can say this as a goalie,
I see people unwilling to give Elvis passes that they were willing to give Korpisalo. And it's not so much the fact that there were times Corpy was given passes. I just more so refer to when Corpy had his struggles, it never came to this. We never saw Korpisalo have to delete fucking accounts on whether it be Twitter or Instagram or whatever, or talk about fans in doing things with his family in the stands or shit like that. Like, we never saw any of that with Corpus. I don't understand why
No.
it's happening with Elvis specifically when the struggles we've seen from Elvis have matched those from Corpy in the past. What is it about Elvis that the standard is different, that the treatment is different, especially considering the very obvious circumstances and things we know that have happened in his life?
Is it the money? Is it the marketability that this guy has? Is it putting too much stock in him when we know he still has room to learn to be the guy? Like, he's not the guy yet, but he can learn to be the guy.
There's no guarantee he'll ever be the guy.
No,
But I don't
that's just how
understand why
hockey
we're
is.
acting like he can never be. He had success his first 2 years in the league. He looked great.
Yes.
And it's like the last 2 years completely get rid of that. Like, I understand people are down on him. I understand why. And I don't disagree with people being concerned. I'm concerned.
Don't just
but,
turn around and
like,
act like he's a sieve, guys.
we have 4 years of evidence, like 4 years of data from Elvis.
Mhm.
And because the last 2 are the most recent, people just pretend the first 2 don't even exist.
Right. Recency
But
bias.
like, they act like we can never get back to that. I don't understand why it gets to that level, though. If Elvis goes out and has another bad season, another sub 900 season,
Yes.
it still should never get to that point.
It's
ever.
a concern, and that's management's problem.
It is. It's
That's not ours.
something you can put into your hands to say whatever you want online. I put up a quote from Ted Lasso that I saw you liked the tweet.
Yeah.
So this was from one of the most recent episodes. Roy Kent did a press conference in it, and I loved it. He said, "I get that some people think if they buy a ticket, they have the right to yell whatever abusive shit they want at the players, but they're not just players; they're also people, and none of us know what's going on in each other's lives."
Bingo.
It is that simple.
It's that simple. And if we want to go and take the track record, right? Do we want to just rapid fire this track record? From the Matisse incident to this bad season and in between, getting death threats towards his wife and son?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
It's like,
I
don't know
the thing with the Stars fan and like right, there was just so much that screwed with his head mentally, and that's the mental argument I wanted to talk about, right?
Yes. And like, do you know what is the craziest part about all of it, in my opinion? Is he still wants to be here.
He still does.
I don't know why. I sure as fuck wouldn't. I'll tell you that right now.
If I was succumbing to this kind of pressure,
oh, fuck that.
No, I wouldn't want it. No.
Ship me wherever. Buy me out. I don't care. Get me out of here.
Right. Because
Seriously. It's like the second you make money in this industry, or really any entertainment industry for that matter.
Yeah.
All objectivity and all humanity that's given to you is just stripped from you. And it's like people think that's the price you pay for making the money. And I don't understand why.
Well, Mark said it. You never know who's looking at it.
Yeah.
You never know who's reading your stuff.
It's like people will direct things at players or indirectly say things about players and they think that they won't see it.
There was, it wasn't to the extent that it is with Elvis, but Johnny went through tons of this shit when he signed here.
Yes. He's still going to.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He went through so much of it specifically for Miles and Devils fans when he first signed here.
Yeah. Which Isles were just so funny about it. He's like, what? Why are Islanders fans booing me?
Right. I mean, Philly fans too, because he was another, that was another target, but whatever.
I don't even know if some Philly fans, most of them were just pissed at management because that was.
Yeah. But this is my point, right? Like, he saw that. Yes. Elvis read these things.
Yeah. It's like, it's funny because I saw there were some Devils fans who were laughing at the fact that Johnny deleted his Twitter when it happened. And I'm like, you realize that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can see that happen and be like, oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. We showed you.
I just
you think you're gonna win just because you made a pro athlete delete a social media account?
Like
I think he could get by without a Twitter for a bit.
Yeah. He's making over $9 million. Yeah. I'm sure he's really struggling.
Yeah.
Because, some fan was mean to him online, after the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. Like, that was the other thing. He was just tweeting about the Super Bowl.
Oh, when he was
that's what happened.
Elvis was tweeting about winning bronze. Yes. Like, come on.
Like, these two incidents we're talking about happened with things that were completely unrelated to their actual careers.
Yeah,
The guy was tweeting about the Super Bowl, and the other guy was tweeting about his home country winning a gold medal or winning a bronze
medal. Yeah,
and God, it's just. I think I've said everything I need to say.
Yeah, be better, people. All of you.
Be better.
And I mean, that's us included. Like, we've said shitty things online. Come on.
Yes, I have. But I always think that I allow myself room to grow because like one thing I've said is I think there were times this past season I was a little too hard on Liam Foudy.
Yeah. You grew on Foods as the season went along. Yeah. It was good.
And I'm always willing to step back if I say something a little too brash. And at the end of the day, this is entertainment, Jake.
Right, and it's all
as passionate as we are about the team. These are real people.
We care, and it's a lot of the stuff, a lot of the mean things we say, specifically us, they're in jest.
Sometimes it's trying to be funny.
Sometimes it's trying to make a joke.
And sometimes you won't. And when I say you, I mean us. I'm not.
Yeah. Well,
I whiff constantly.
Oh yeah, we're both. Yeah, we have our hits and misses.
Yeah. I mean, as far as hits and misses go, I'm looking like the Guardians lineup right now.
Well, I mean, if Ellie De La Cruz is any indication that we might trade Johnny India, I don't want to trade Johnny.
Oh God.
Anyway, okay.
All mystery, man.
Woo! Love y'all. We love y'all, and we'll see you. You want to do another Wednesday?
This Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday recording. Cool. All right. Yeah. And good luck to whichever first timer can get this cup.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.